We're at the top of Moore's Wall. It's one of the cool mountains in the Saratown mountain range. I'm always talking about it. I've done a lot of videos in this area. You can't see the other mountains because it's bad weather. And I actually came up here today hoping to catch some hawk migrations. Obviously that's not happening. We might see some flying over, but I really doubt it with the way these clouds are. Now obviously I'm gonna have to come here another time to get the footage, and I'll talk more about the hawks during that time. But there's still plenty to talk about today. And you know what? I have taken photos of birds here before. I've gotten a pigeon on that rock exactly, actually right there. You'll be able to see what's behind it because it was a clear day that day. I got photos of some vultures back that way on the other side of that rock down the trail, which is, you know, the trail runs that way. The trail doesn't go down the cliff right here, but people do climb this rock. I never see them do it, but I know this is a very popular destination for that. I want to talk about the things that I've learned while on this mountain in the various different biomes that this mountain has to offer. Obviously there's this rocky area that this tower is in. I've gotten a lot of photos here, winter, fall, spring, summer. I've taken, you know, my normal lens here. I've taken a telephoto lens here. I've taken my manual low light lens here. And the best thing about this hike, in my opinion, is the view of the sunset that you get at the top of this tower, which it's gonna be obscured by the clouds today, almost guaranteed. But on some cloudy days, you get these incredible God rays, which is when I learned that it's very valuable to come to places that you've already been to, and even taking the same photos in different conditions can really change the photo entirely. I have a photo here in winter that I was like, that's the photo, I'm done. I don't need to come back up there to get a sunset photo. Then I come back a few months later, and it's this lush green area. The sunset is hitting the Piedmont just right, and there are these God rays coming down from the clouds, and it was just a next level thing. You guys, I'll have to have you guys tell me which photo you prefer of those two. I know which one I like. I feel like the God rays one really wins it out, but some people like the low contrast, flat image and two-tone like images that you can get in winter on a clear day. But speaking of changing lighting conditions, in the valley down below on the way up, there's a 4-mile loop. There's thousands of stairs. You got stairs on the way up, and then you got more stairs, and then you got even more stairs. And you probably thought that I have enough B-roll of stairs, but here's some more. And then in the other way, there's this boardwalk that goes through the swamp, where one day when I was hiking through here, the different light that was hitting the forest was causing completely different conditions each time that I wanted to take a photo. And it created very different opportunities, and it changed what would be the focal point. Things like when there wasn't any particular light beams, the trail was a very obvious focal point, or some very obvious plants were a focal point. But then a sunbeam would come in and hit a spot that you wouldn't think of even pointing the camera at until the sun illuminated it and made it stand out from the area around it. Now you're just gonna have to imagine a very incredible view behind me. I can't control the conditions of the day. But here we are. This is the very top of the tower, and I actually want to talk about some things below because we can't see what's above behind me. Maybe I'll save more about talking about what's over there when it's revealed the day that I can actually see the hawk migration, which, you know, I got another 2 weeks, so it'll be fine. I'm sure it'll clear up one of these days. Right now you're in a cloud, so I don't know how good I look, but it's not that important. I'm going to talk about some photos that are pretty good, I think. So over there is Cook's Wall. That's where we got a photo gallery video that I did called Small World. And I actually kind of added to that portfolio coming up here. I got photos of some very cool mushrooms. I've taken some cool photos of mushrooms here another day, but I'm going to save that for a video about depth of field and lens compression. That's coming. Be excited for that. It's a very thrilling topic. Over there behind me, that's where the rhododendrons are. You can kind of see them behind the cloud. It's not the best day for it, obviously, but it's the day I came up here. Over there, I got some very beautiful photos. It really comes in. Like, I am going to show the photos. I also have some cool photos of, you know, the plants on the ground, which I love to take photos of, the little miniature forest. I also have photos looking over at Cook's Wall. And really the point I'm trying to get across is take your chances, you know, go out on days like this, you know, you don't know what you'll get. Sometimes these look cool. Sometimes it looks cool to see a tower poking out of a cloud. Sometimes it's cool to stand in a cloud and not be able to see shit. You know, it's an experience. It's part of learning photography. It's part of participating in nature, I think. And it's part of the fun of doing this. Different conditions, different seasons, different weather, different days. There was a day I came here and it was raining, and I got some pretty cool photos that I just sent my mom because it was cool. There was a cool rainbow over there by Hanging Rock. Hanging Rock's behind a cloud right now. I can't see it. There was pillars of rain over by Pilot Mountain, which is over there, but you can't see it. And I met a really cool deaf couple that were up here. I was out here praying out loud, just, you know, because it was one of those days, you know, I wanted to journal, wanted to do some Bible studying. I came up here, prayed out loud, and then I was quiet, and this deaf couple came up. They were doing their thing. They looked at me. I was like, hey, what's up? And then they signed to me that they can't hear me because they're deaf. They were signing to each other. They were having a blast, honestly. I've never seen two people having so much fun in a fire tower like this. But they were very friendly and welcoming, and I was still able to continue to, you know, be alone with God. They would point at things in the distance, and I would take a photo of it, and then I'd zoom in on my camera for them to look at it. You know, I had my telephoto lens with me. I got some photos of some birds, showed it to them. It was a thrilling time where we couldn't, you know, communicate really. My point is, of sharing that story and sharing all this other, you know, bullshit, is it's fun to go out. You meet new people, you don't know what to expect. And sometimes you'll run into a guy that's got a giant tripod on a fire tower, and you're just waiting to get up there, and he's yelling at the camera, doesn't even know you're there. You know, who cares, right? It's cool. It's cool. You just saw a guy playing with a camera. One of my favorite things about this location is blending man's creation with nature. It's a unique thing that a lot of photographers target. I know particularly my favorite photographer, James Popsis, targets it all the time. He talks about blending man's creation with nature all the time. He always gets photos of some sick houses and a, you know, iceberg. And, you know, I don't get that opportunity all the time, but, you know, I still think it's really cool. That's something that is also special about this place. That's something that maybe you can play around with in your area, because there's so many farms, things around here. Even on the other peaks, there's factories. You can see Winston-Salem from Pilot Mountain. I've gotten some cool photos there. I won't talk about all of those individually right now because, you know, it's not a good day for it. But if you want to see a video about a place that blends, you know, perfectly blends man's creation and nature, it was literally created to do such a thing. It's a place on the Blue Ridge Parkway on the side of Grandfather Mountain. It's called the Linco Viaduct. I'll put the video, you know, right here somewhere. But that spot is literally created to blend man's creation with nature. It goes along the curve of the mountains, and it completely dodges the rock field below. Very special place. Check it out.